Greetings, people. This is a climate change rant. And what I'm doing is I'm going to read off a chart to you people to show you how fucking insane and stupid this whole fucking idea is that the left's been pushing for a tax on carbon, or as I like to think of it, farting. Back in 1895, this is in the Los Angeles Times, the human race will have to fight for its existence against the coming ice age. That was 1895. The other thing happened was geologists think that the world may be freezing up again. That was in the New York Times. In 1912, the Titanic strikes an iceberg and sinks. An ice age is encroaching. That was the New York Times. In 1923, the ice is coming here. That's the Washington Post. Also in the Post, the Chicago Tribune had a headline, "Scientists say Arctic ice will wipe out Canada and parts of Europe and Asia. Switzerland will be entirely obliterated." In 1930, searing heat and drought turned the nation's midsection into a dust bowl. You guys all remember that. You've seen lots of good movies, Grapes of Wrath, things like that. People moved. That's what you do when you have a real climate change. You move. 1933, America is in its longest warm spell since 1776, with temperatures in a 25-year rise. That's in the New York Times. All right, now you go back to 1939. Weathermen have no doubt that the world, at least for the time being, is growing warmer. Okay, that was 1939. Early to mid-1950s, we had North America experiences above normal temperatures, droughts, and on the East Coast, devastating hurricanes. Some of the big ones of the 20th century hit during the 50s. 1952, melting glaciers are the trump card of global warming. That's the New York Times. So 1952, just to go over this for you liberals that don't pay too much attention unless you're spending somebody else's money. 1952, melting glaciers are the trump card of global warming. 1895, New York Times, geologists think that the world may be freezing up again. Okay, so, what do you go? You go 60 years, they're changing their tune. 1960, brutal cold prevails worldwide. 1970, the chill continues. Time and Newsweek magazines report on the coming ice age. That's what I saw as a kid. That's why I laughed like hell when I saw the global warming shit. Because I'd already been through this as a youngster, reading about it, studying about it in school. And the liberals of our day were screaming, we have to do something, we have to do something. And no matter what it is, it's always don't burn oil, freeze to death. Makes no sense to me. Whether it's getting hotter or warmer, they're blaming oil. Hotter or colder, it's got to be oil's fault. 1976, the United States and many other parts of the Western Hemisphere will experience the coldest contiguous winters on record. That was 1976 to 79. 1979, plan for the study of dome over town is approved, Winooski, Vermont, to protect the city from cold. That's the New York Times. 1980, a brutal summer heat wave occurs in much of the United States. Residents of the town that was looking at putting a dome over them to protect them from the bitter cold realized that they would have fried to death under the dome. So another great liberal idea. Lucky we didn't execute it. We'd have baked people, at least in Vermont. 1980 to 2000, temperatures rise globally, interrupted only by the cooling effects of major volcanic eruptions. El Chicon in Mexico, 1982, and Pinatubo in the Philippines, 1991. After Pinatubo, the temperature of the globe dropped for 12 months, almost 2 degrees. Kind of didn't have a summer that year. 1988, record heat wave and drought in eastern and central United States causes over $40 billion in crop losses. Okay, now, again, paying attention, 1988, record drought. 1933, record drought. Okay, see the pattern, people? 1991, volcanic eruptions in the Philippines may counteract global warming. That's the New York Times. 1997, a super El Nino results in the warmest temperatures on record worldwide. 1998, Earth's temperature in 1998 is reported at a record high. That's the New York Times. 2007. First major snowstorm in Buenos Aires since 1918. Herald Tribune. Australia records its coldest June ever, and Chile experiences its toughest winter in 50 years. Johannesburg, South Africa gets its first significant snowfall in 50 years. Despite the bitter cold throughout much of the southern hemisphere, NASA's James Hansen declares 2007 the second warmest year on record. 2008. Snow day in Baghdad. It actually snowed in Baghdad there. The coldest weather since 1964 hits the Middle East, while China experiences unusually heavy snow and freezing temperatures. If you look at recorded history where we actually had a thermometer and knew how to use it, it looks like about every 75 years we do a big swing from cold to hot. And then we repeat it 75 years later going the other way. And apparently, now this is kind of stunning, this runs right along with the output of the sun. So I wonder if the fiery ball in the sky has more to do with our temperature on this planet than maybe, oh, I don't know, farting. Okay, let's go out on a run there.